today we are recording a special episode to me. One of two things, well, two reasons why. Because I am ready to work on new things. We got many more things to come out. And the night show has been a top priority for me. And I can finally say we're moving on, for a little bit. Today we have two people who I saw and I was like, I need them in the show immediately. They both are, they're a power couple. They work together and it just comes out with amazing outcomes. Today we have Rolando and Evelyn. Please come out. I know to our live audience, it's more whatever, in the actual thing. Right now it's like so dry, but that's how it is. Yeah. Start off and say, thank you guys for coming. You guys have been like on the list since like for a while. Yeah, honestly, I think late last year, I sent the message and I was like, I hope they answer. I hope they come, bro. Yeah. So thank you guys for coming. Honestly,
thank you for having us, bro.
What was it? So it's you guys. Let's talk about. We have many things to talk about. It's not even just what you guys do together. You guys have stuff going on separately between both of y'all. Let's start, at the very beginning. I know that you guys didn't go to school together. Kind of start off like that. I know you guys were in different schools.
No. We're in the same school.
We are really in the same school?
Yeah, we started at the same school, and then.
But you ended up somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you were like, I'm not gonna date no one from high school or whatever. Mm-hmm. Here you go. I do my research.
I didn't plan on dating nobody from high school, but I mean,
it happens. Yeah. It happens. So let's talk about it's hard. We'll go ahead and start off with you, Rolly. Start off with you. I want to break that ladies first rule. Like that. I'm not on my phone. I'm not like texting. I have all my stuff here. So let's start off with Superior. Let's talk about Superior, man.
All right.
You're dropping stuff. It's about to come, or maybe
it's about to come this month.
Is it this month?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's about to come this month. You've been working hard on it. There's a source out there that says that you've been working hard on it. You've been going all out, and not just that. You have other stuff going on too. We'll get into that. How was it for you working for Superior? So
Superior pretty much started in 2015, and it's just been like an on and off type of thing, you know what I mean? So it's a brand that we started together, and it's just like a thing that back in 2015 I was like, I want to start a brand and shit like that. And can we cuss on this? Right?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Also, try to put your mic a little bit
like this. Better?
Like that. Yeah.
All right, and but yeah, pretty much I started the brand, and then it was always like an on and off thing, and then little by little I started learning how to because you start off with the first thing that we dropped was hats, right? And we dropped 50 hats. It was because there was a special from the screen printing shop. They were like, oh, we got a special 50 hats, and I'm like, oh, fuck it, I'm gonna take the deal, So I decided to go with the hats and shit, but I didn't know shit about brands, starting a brand or anything. So that's why my first drop was hats. I didn't know about marketing. I didn't know nothing. You know what I mean? So I dropped $800, or $700. I don't know, the first to get the first order.
It was 7 colors, I think.
Yeah, and it was 7 different colors, and it's just some.
So corny.
Yeah, and I still rock the hats though. So
yeah, you do.
But yeah, it's always been an on and off thing. I keep saying that, but with time, I would let it go. I would bring it back. I redo the logo, do a relaunch. And it's not until this year that I'm gonna take it a little more serious. I've been working with so many different brands that at this point I'm I gotta get my shit out there. You know what I mean? So that's pretty much where we're at now.
Yeah.
With that, so
would you say that seeing these brands, grow, it kind of gives you that inspiration to be like, fuck, what am I doing? I need to start working hard.
Yeah, because and it's not a brand in particular, but there's times that I work on designs, and then I'm just like, man, this design could be better, but not from my end. It's more of their idea. They want to bring something to life, and I'm like, man, I know my brand could have better designs than this shit. You know what I mean? So I felt like whenever I would design other people's stuff, it's not what I want to do. It's not what I want to be designing. So at that point, that's where I'm like, all right, well, if I redo my shit, then I'll be designing the shit I want to. You know what I mean? So
yeah. So you also, this is your brand, and it requires your designs.
Yeah.
You are someone who does a bunch of concepts when it comes to like other bands like bandas, and you also have like regular artists. You have people like, I'm trying to say one out of my mind, Bad Bunny. Like, for example, you do a bunch of urban artists too.
Yeah.
And you post it. So
Yeah.
these designs are coming from you.
Yeah.
So it kind of gives that vintage look. Are we going to be seeing any vintagey look on your brand?
Yeah, we are, but not as far as Superior. Like Superior, I don't want to use people's faces on my brand. You know what I mean? Like there's just, and then the other thing is that I drop these like modern vintage pieces, like artwork or whatever, more as just conceptualizing like what I can do. You know what I mean? And it's just to get more attention, more. And that's how I've built relationships. That's how I get like different artists to like fuck with me or whatever. But as far as for Superior, I won't be doing shit like that because it's just you start getting into like, well, you're using somebody else's I forget the word, but it's like a legal thing where they'll fucking cease and desist.
Sue you, cease and desist or something like that.
Cease and desist and all that shit. And so yeah.
Speaking of relationships and all that, you created the Mania logo, right? The Mania logo that we are seeing right now. That was I didn't know that, actually. I think I did an interview right there with Terry, and then I was like, I'm excited, have this guy, and, him and his wife, they're coming on. And he was like, oh, he made our logo. I didn't know that. Good shit. Because that's the logo that a lot of people know, and, TikTokers and all that, they all see it,
Yeah.
So you're also working on NFT projects.
Yeah.
You have I have it right here. Did I not? The Rowdy Dragon Bunch. Right, that's what it is. So you have the Rowdy Dragon Bunch. For someone to be working, with a brand, personal brand, your podcast, and then you're also doing NFTs. I'm assuming you're 100% busy. You're always, if you're not working on one thing, you're going for another.
Yeah.
Do you get inspired by both?
Everything's different, and I do. Like everything is kind of like together. Like there's always something that's connecting each one of them. Like for the first drop for Superior, the back of one of the shirts has the dragon on there, and but that was more of her thing. Like she was like, "Oh, you should put the dragon on there just to like introduce it," because I kind of want to make it where it's like the atom bomb from like hundreds and shit like that. Everybody has like their own little, and I was like, man, I'm gonna just use the dragon as like the Superior thing, but I'll throw it here and there on a t-shirt or whatever. But yeah, like Superior with the dragons, this much more. I feel like I don't know. I guess the logo design and all that shit, right? Like it has to do more with like Vogue Studios and shit, and yeah, everything's connected somehow,
Yeah.
So
got you. So speaking about about brands and all that, let's move on to AA Mas. So congratulations on that. I know that just recently came out as well. You recently did a drop. I would say a couple months, I would say.
Yeah, well, I did my first chapter in January, my second chapter in February, and now I'm working on my third one for March.
So it's going to be a monthly type thing?
I hope so. I want to, but it's so hard. Like, I mean, it's a lot of work, and I do everything by myself. I mean, he does my designs, but I have to get, like, the girls together. I take my own pictures, and, like the actual piece, like, I do it myself at the house, like, with my embroidery machine and, everything, so... I mean, I'm going to try to make it like an every month thing. So hopefully that's, I've been saying it on like my page just so for accountability, like to myself,
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, it's like, it's been really good. Thank God. Like,
no, like I said, congratulations on that.
You.
I know starting a brand, like even just releasing something that you did with your design, if it's a brand, if it's merch, because they're both different things, Merch, you grab a Gildan shirt or you grab a shirt, slap a design on it, and boom, send it out, sell it because of what you do.
Yeah.
And a brand is way different. It's more mind exhausting, I would say, and also labor exhausting, especially like you said, you're doing that by hand, from scratch. So I
Yeah.
can't imagine.
No, yeah, it's really hard. I mean, like honestly, whenever I did my first dropout, I told him, I'm like, man, I need some good like some good blanks, like good quality, because I didn't want to drop like Gildan or anything like that. And I mean, nothing, because some brands do start off with Gildan, and it's fine because it's within their budget or whatever. But mine, it was pre-order, so it was a little bit easier to just not go with Gildan, But yeah, the research has to be done, like for sure.
Yeah, no, of course. And you also like to give back to the community.
Oh, yeah.
Both of you guys were doing a fundraiser recently in Christmas time.
Yeah.
We're sending out toys and everything out to Mexico and everything. How was that experience for you? I know you guys have a child, right?
Yeah.
I was listening to the podcast and I was like, oh yeah, that Milo, right?
Yeah, Milo.
And Milo
Yeah.
was like, oh, Mexico,
Kids.
he grabs the toys like Mexico.
Yeah.
Like, no, that one's actually yours. How was that experience for you?
Honestly, I feel like I always like to give back, but not that sometimes I just couldn't or whatever, so I'll just try to help out in whatever way I could. But when we started Alegres Milagros, it was more just to like involve Milo and to teach him like to give back, that it's good, and then at first when I seen that a lot of people did support and like donations and bringing a lot of toys, like it made me happy, but actually taking the toys to Mexico and actually giving them back, it was really like amazing, like because a lot of the kids over there were like just so happy just to get like a Barbie or whatever,
Yeah.
And Milo, he was there last year helping to give out candies and like chips, and again this year he's a little bit older, so I feel like now he understands a little bit more of like what it is, but it's a really good experience, I think, right? Like,
Yeah, because we never done anything like that. Like, because obviously we're giving back to like my side of the family, like where I'm from or whatever, where my parents, and her being Salvadorian and shit, like she's not even Mexican, and then she's over here like giving back and shit like to the community over there. And
I know, I'm like always laughing because I feel like I'm like the only Salvadorian in their little town because their town is so small.
yeah, it's a
you know?
small town, and then
And now people actually like know who I am, but like
Yeah.
in their town and the little neighbors, like neighborhoods, like around
yeah,
the area.
and they caught everybody by surprise. Like my family, like they've just never done shit like that before. You know what I mean? And then we do it at my grandpa's house, which, I mean, he passed away, and now it's like we use like just that because he lives on a dead end, and then now we have a house next to his, so that's where everybody goes and like does like a little line or whatever and pick up their toys and shit, and then
Yeah.
But like the first year we did it just right there, and then this last year or earlier this year, right?
Yeah.
We did it there, and then the following day we did it like in
A
another little smaller
yeah.
town.
And
So-
it's funny because at first, obviously I'm not from there, so I don't have any family there, I'm known, I guess, just because of like his parents or whatever, So last year, which I mean, I don't really care for the credit, because my part was to be there to actually give the toys, And last year, his dad they were saying, right, that everybody was saying that you and your brothers got like everything, like all the toys and stuff like that, because y'all were like the Reyes Magos and stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But his dad was like, no, it's not us, this is my daughter-in-law, So this year, I feel like people that actually knew, that it was me, they were like actually reaching out to me on Facebook, and they're like, hey, I'm not from like this, little town, but I'm like from the one like next to it or whatever. Can I still come? And I'm like, yeah, just bring your kids. Like we'll have 200, we had like 250 plus toys. So I'm like, so whoever first come first serve, And we had like a long line, and it was like, it was really good. Like,
Yeah, there's a video, but I'm just
We
waiting
just
on
haven't
her like
finished it.
little thank you note at the end and
yeah, but I have to record that because
Yeah.
he recorded most of like the experience, But I mean, the kids there, it's like a badass experience, honestly.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Oh, yeah, of course, that feeling of giving out. If you don't mind me asking, what part of Mexico are you from?
Tamaulipas. So
part?
there's, what's that?
What part, Tamaulipas?
Santa Polonia and then Valle Hermoso.
Oh, okay, because we're from San Fernando, Tamaulipas.
Oh,
So it's
okay,
like small town. So I was like, small town. I was like,
Is it close by to where they're from or no?
I'll
Or
be
you don't
honest
know?
with you, I don't know.
Or do you know Valle Hermoso or no?
I know Valle Hermoso.
Is it far from there or?
Yeah, it is. It is because I had a friend that lived in Valle Hermoso, and then I remember looking that up, and it was the distance was kind of
Yeah,
far.
like as soon as we cross the border, like I think we drive like an hour ish, right? Like, and then we're where we need to be.
We're 2 hours.
Oh, okay.
2 hours away. So it
From
was not
Valle
that.
Hermoso or from the border?
Well, it's on from the border.
Oh,
so
I
I
don't
guess
think y'all are
so.
too
I don't
far
think
there.
so.
No.
Then I'm thinking of something else. Am I thinking of Victoria? Probably, maybe.
Maybe.
Who knows?
I don't know.
No,
But
yeah.
we're gonna talk about this and much
and
more.
much
I'm
more.
tripping.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm sorry. No, yeah. Who came up with the idea?
It was both of us.
Yeah, we were drunk at Hooters.
Yeah.
Yo, what?
We were doing Sunday Fun Day. We usually do like, because he's always busy, you know, with his schedule.
Yeah.
And Sundays is usually the day that is like our family day. And then so we'll take our son to do like an activity like Chuck E. Cheese, jumping or whatever, right? And then we'll have like a dinner, and we usually like choose Hooters to go eat wings and drink beer. And we were there, and he's like, man, I have too much going on, da da da. And then I'm like, well, just get rid of this page and, you know, whatever. And then he's like, oh, I think you said it, right? To do a
What?
podcast?
Yeah, I was like, man, we should do a podcast. Like,
Yeah, he's like, we should do a podcast. And I do like talking to people, you know, and
yeah.
it just pretty much went from there. Like, it was, and they're like, oh, you know, and then we just started like coming up with an idea. And like, we literally both had our phones like open with our notes, you know, like a shared notes. And we were just writing ideas there, just like, oh, what should we do? And what's our schedule looking like, you know, to post on the actual page, and like people that we
Yeah.
want to bring on, you know, and stuff like that. But yeah, it was at Hooters. We usually brainstorm at Hooters, honestly.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
So-
every time we go, and it's like,
We always leave with like a whole new
and
idea.
I literally like just want to go to drink and shit, you know, like the wings and shit is extra, you know. But I know drinking there and then just the environment and shit, it doesn't even have to do with like the girls or nothing, right? Like,
Sure. No, I'm just
nah,
kidding.
they're like fives and shit. No, but
No, I feel
it's
like
not
we
even
kind
that.
of know who. I
Huh?
mean, I feel like we kind of had like the same waitresses. 'Cause
Yeah, pretty
we just
much.
go,
Like, but
you
it's
know?
just like the fact that it's just I'm chilling, drinking, and it's just like, and then that's where I just start telling her like, boom, boom, I want to do this, this, and that, and she'll give me her ideas, and then from there it's just
Yeah, I feel
you
like
know?
it's not like, oh, it's the best environment. No, obviously not, right? But I think we're just having our son is literally just there. Like Milo is just enjoying his time, meeting his papas, and me and Roland are just going idea back and forth,
Yeah.
like, you know, brainstorming, you know, and that's pretty much what we do.
No, yeah,
like,
yeah.
and that's how
Alright.
this and much more.
Every time I come out of Hooters, I come regañado as fuck. Bro. My girl's like, any little like, oh, you know, oh really? And I'm just like, bro, either that or gastritis, cause them wings, bro, fucking me up. But no, so now we have an idea, and that's where, you know, Utopia for all creatives and business came. You know, it's like that's what it is basically.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I loved about it, because it was like, this isn't just a regular podcast. This is, you know, this is practically what I do. This is practically what Robbie does. This is what we do. You know, this
Yeah.
is what is important. You know, because like
Yeah.
you could have, you know, a podcast where you could talk about anything you want. You know, and then you guys were able to mix both. You know, you guys can talk about many things, but you guys also talk about the person. You know, like,
Yeah.
well, what do you do? What do you do? You do this, this, and that. Oh, and then you guys talk about what happened, you know, when last Saturday night type shit, you know. So
yeah.
I think that's what hooks the people too, because it's like, oh, I kind of want to, you know, see what's up, but
Yeah,
I also
yeah.
want to learn about this person. So props for that. Not many people can do that. That's a
Yeah.
fucking good,
Thank
know,
you.
it's a good format, and obviously it's working well, you know.
yeah.
Yeah.
You guys have good guests, you know. I know one of my favorite episodes is Channel Purple, you know,
Yeah.
watching her. I also watch Robbie Rob, and then you also have Chingo Bling coming on
Yeah.
next week.
On
Yeah, this Monday.
Well, technically, when this comes out, Chingo Bling's episode will already be out.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll put in
Okay.
the description and all that. So when it comes to finding guests and all that, how is that for you? Like, do you just be like, hey, pull up, or what's up?
So honestly, you know how you asked about like giving back? That's also why This and Much More came about, because me and Roland have always been like, when they ask us, you know, oh, where do you get this? Where do you get that? You know, whatever. We're like, oh, we'll tell you, like, you know, and you do what you got to do with that information. So when we talked about doing This and Much More, It was more like, man, we should motivate people to be their own boss, like to do their own thing, you know, like work for themselves or whatever. And that's like another reason why like it really came about. So we started promoting it more like to promote their own stuff, you know, or what they had coming, you know, like in their future or whatever. Well, I mean, since you watched the podcast, we at first we would have, I think everybody who we had lined up at first, like they were pretty good about it, right?
Like the first couple guests?
The first couple of guests.
Like, what do you mean they were pretty good about it?
Like they didn't cancel us. Like it was more family, you know.
Yeah, because you start off with like the people you know, obviously.
Yeah,
You know?
and
So
that's how it started.
So you're
with
like,
people
all
that
right,
we knew.
my
which was
brother,
family.
my cousin, like shit like that. Like knowing that like they have a little bit of like something going on with them. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's how it came about, and then.
And I feel like that's how we kind of grew that, like started the episodes with family, you know, and or like close friends that we knew that were doing, like they were motivated to do stuff. And I think our first guest that we didn't know like on a personal level like that was supposed to be in December, but they canceled, right? So then our second guest that we didn't know on like a personal level also canceled, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then Larry was the first one that it was his first time coming to our house, right?
Yeah,
Or
I mean, but
Pico's
like,
too, though, but you knew Pico already.
yeah.
But Larry, I think he was the first one, right?
Larry's the first one that like, yeah, I had a relationship with him like online and shit like that. Like we've been working or talking, whatever, and it wasn't until that he went to the house that we like met, like
Him and his fiance.
yeah. Well, we had met him before.
Yeah, but
like,
we didn't
but
remember.
right there, that's the first time like we're actually like linking up and you
Like
know what I mean,
having
like,
a conversation with them, you know, like
Yeah.
getting to know them, like, you know, who they were or whatever, aside from being an online friend, you know?
Yeah.
But I feel like now we do have people reach out, right?
Yeah.
But like it's like we're trying to stay with the schedule, but because we do have a son, so we can only record one day out of the week, and sometimes we can't because we don't have a babysitter.
Yeah.
You know, so it's hard to like squeeze everybody in. Like literally this weekend we have you today, right? Like we're on yours. We have another one tomorrow, and then we have one Saturday, and that's just because his mom was like okay taking care of our son, like for those, you know, time
Yeah.
frames or whatever.
Yeah.
But we've also had like weekends where it's like all weekend we have one each day.
But it's better for y'all because it's like
Yeah, so
we don't have to worry about.
Yeah,
you know,
so it'll be
so-and-so.
like if my cousin's like, oh, you know, let me pick up Milo or something. I'm like, oh yeah, and then we'll try to like schedule somebody in, but then we don't want to call nobody last minute either. So
yeah. So we
it's
try to get
just
everybody
hard.
like maybe like weeks ahead of time.
yeah,
Like,
but then sometimes that also like causes them to cancel.
yeah,
you
so it's
know?
like not too far out where it's like I'm not gonna schedule somebody like 2 months. You know, it's like anything can happen.
Yeah.
So we'll do like anywhere like 2 to a month.
I feel
2 weeks,
attacked.
yeah.
I feel attacked, bro.
Yeah?
I feel attacked because I hit y'all up. What?
No, but
no,
no, I thought, no.
no.
Nah, it's not like that. It's
No,
just
because we had somebody, Mariana, I don't know if you've seen her episode. Hers just dropped. She reached out, I think, when we had just started.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
you know what, too, though? And I told her, yeah, we're going to get you in or whatever. But when we first started, we had everything booked up until December. And then we had cancellations, you know? So it kind of caught us off guard, right?
Yeah.
Like we were just like, oh, shit, like cancellations happen. Like, you know, because
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
even think that people would actually cancel. Because we're like, if I schedule something, I put it on my calendar and I'm like, all right. So that's when you're like, oh, you know, I think you said Wednesday, right?
By accident, yes.
Yeah. And I was like, oh shit, Wednesday. I have it on Thursday, you know. But I think you just had like.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, 'cause-
because I was telling him, I was like, yeah, you know, we were doing something. We were supposed to do something Wednesday, and then I think I just got confused, and then that's why I was like Wednesday, and you corrected me, and I was like, what the fuck am I saying? I'm
Yeah,
sorry. I was
because
like,
you're
you sent the
fucking right.
message and then I was working, so you sent the message and she wrote. We run the This and Much More page together.
Yeah.
So then I see the notifications and I go and I read the messages. I'm like, what the fuck? So I call her. I'm like, hey, I thought it was on Thursday or whatever. And then she's like, oh yeah, let me tell him or whatever, you know. And then I'm like, all right.
Yeah. Which is
But-
funny that because we do both run the page, and he booked somebody for like Saturday, and I didn't know he had booked them, but I didn't go back and read the messages, so I was trying to book him for like another day.
yeah,
He's like, wait, so not
Oh, yeah,
this
yeah,
day
yeah.
anymore? And I'm like, oh wait, hold on, and I'm like reading the messages. I'm like, oh shit, I'm so sorry. I didn't even
Yeah.
realize that you
Yeah.
were booked. But we were gonna tell you, right, like about April
Yeah.
to get you on our podcast
oh shit,
for Fridays.
Okay.
Oh, it's a Friday. It had to be like
Yep.
yeah,
What?
it had to be on a Friday though.
yeah. No, I'll be happy to.
So we'll give you some dates whenever we end
Okay.
or whatever.
No, I'll love to. You know.
No, yeah.
But,
And then,
Fire.
but to get back on the how we get the people, Roland's he's the one that's very like, he likes to get people that he knows that they're on their shit,
yeah.
right? Because we just
Yeah.
talked about this.
Yeah, like I want to get people that I know that. Here's the thing, like I don't want to get somebody, and then like somebody, let's say like months from now, like somebody's like, oh, like they watch, I don't know, like shit.
Let's just say,
I'm gonna just say Larry. Larry's on his shit, right?
yeah, Larry's on his
He's
shit.
a videographer. But let's say somebody goes and watches his episode, but we dropped that episode like months ago. And then they go back and they're like, oh, let me see what he's doing now. And then like, let's say he just stopped doing the craft or whatever. Then I'll be like, man, like, I don't want to get somebody that's like dabbling in some shit or whatever, and they're not real serious about it, because they might just leave that craft or whatever, and then they're just like back to working a 9 to 5, and I'm just like, damn, we did that shit for nothing type shit.
Which is okay, you know, if they do go to their 9 to 5. But we want to get people that are motivated to be able to motivate others. Like that's what it's about. Like
I want like your episode. Like we're gonna go over shit like what you do, what everything you're doing at the moment type shit, and then somebody watches your episode, and then months pass by, and then they go, and then now you have like a bigger space. Now you have like, they see like progress
the
type
growth.
shit, you know, the growth.
You know?
Like I
And
want
then
people like that.
Yeah, and I feel like when people see the growth, like they just see Roland says it all the time. Like people love seeing other people grow, you know, and that's what we're all about. Like, you know,
Yeah.
like I'm telling you, my friend that had reached out at the very beginning, she was just starting her business, you know, and I'm gonna get you on, you know, like I'm gonna get you on or whatever. But since we already did have everything booked up or whatever, I'm like, I'll get you on or whatever. And then, but now when we got her on, like she's more like motivated and she's more on her shit, right? Like,
Yeah.
so I'm kind of glad we waited
Yeah.
the time that we did, because now she can, like, people can go back and, you know, see her stuff and they're like, oh shit, like she's being for real about it, you know, like that.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm fighting the urge to like ask you shit, you know,
I
like
know, me
like
too.
interview
Me
you
too.
type
I
shit, you know, like.
I mean too.
So I get you, because I did I don't know if you guys watched it. I did the road,
The
Robbie
Robbie,
one? Yeah, I saw
and then
it.
Yeah, I saw
halfway.
that.
I appreciate the shout out though. Like
Yeah.
I was showing her, I was like,
yeah.
oh look, they talking about us and shit.
No, thank you. And I appreciate you guys too, because like it's not even, like, it's not like a big shout out. Like you watch Marvel movies and then they have like
It's my shit.
they could talk about fucking Ant-Man. They said, oh, there's a guy who crawls up walls, automatically Spider-Man. You
Yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah.
So whenever you guys, like, I think the one you did last week or 2 weeks ago, you said, oh yeah, we're gonna be on this podcast. I was like,
Oh yeah.
I was like, that's me.
We did.
I was
We
like,
did.
that's me.
Yeah.
No one else knows, but I know. That's all that matters. And then,
Yeah.
and then the Robbie episode, y'all like, oh yeah, the House of Saints. And then I was like, oh shit. Oh well.
Oh,
when
yeah,
I
yeah,
when I
you
when
did.
I saw, it's just so weird seeing your stuff being said somewhere else.
Yeah.
When it came out, I screen recorded it and I sent it to who was it? I sent it to my girl, and I was like, you can't tell me shit no more. And then I think I was eating at a restaurant with my parents, and then I was like, I was like, look at this shit. I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
bro, popping off, you know?
Your parents
Yeah.
are probably like, who the fuck are they?
Yeah. 'cause-
No,
I know what you
my
mean,
mom
though.
a little bit, but my dad, you know, he sees anybody on TV, and he's just like, oh shit, you know? He thinks like, oh, you know, you made it, you fucking made it big time,
Yeah.
you know? But no, my dad was like, oh shit, good shit, you know? If people are talking about you, it's something.
But it's a good feeling, right? Like, because even whenever y'all shouted us out or whatever, at first, honestly, I was just like, well, people don't give a fuck about us. Like, they don't care who we are, you know? And then Roland's like, you're the one who, right? You were telling me, babe, like, people are actually, like, you know, like,
Talking about you.
you know, commenting, and they're looking now, you know, and stuff like that. But at first I was like, whatever, until we went to a wedding and somebody's like, hey, y'all are from This and Much More, and I had no idea who the guy was, and I was just like,
Yeah.
oh yeah.
Yeah, so what was it? This weekend, past weekend, right? Past weekend when we went to the event? Oh, yeah. Okay, so there was a concert by Heaven. They were having this thing in downtown in Sandman Studios, and me and Wado, you know, we went and we took pictures, we took videos and all that. And then when I walked in, some guy was like, he stopped me. He was like, I know you. And I was like, you do? I was like, what the
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, I don't know you. He was like, nah, I know you. He's like, can I take a picture of you? And I was like, sure, you know? And then he took out a film camera, took a picture of me. That's it. He walked away. Never seen him in my life. And then, when was it? I think yesterday I got the picture. So I guess he was following me. He knew who I was. And I was like, nice. And then also, like, I think 3 other people stopped me and they were like, you're this guy. Someone called me Santos. And I was like, sure, bro. I'm Santos.
I'll take it.
So it's a good feeling. I fucking love it. And it's like, I don't know why, but it's just like.
No, yeah, it's pretty cool to know that you put all this work and people are actually like paying attention, you know? Because that's how I felt for my AI Mas. It's obviously like more of a girl brand, you know? But I didn't want to do like a boutique, you know? Like I want to get a store and add more pieces to it, you know? And where I'm not like killing myself, right? Like making everything by myself. But seeing how many people, how many girls like supported, I was like, holy shit, like people actually like me, you know, like they're buying my stuff, you know, and it's pre-orders. So a lot of people don't like doing pre-orders because it takes a little bit longer, but it's amazing. Like it's a good feeling. Like,
yeah, because I feel like what a lot of people, what she didn't understand at first was, because I would tell her, I'm like, you know, as long as you're doing some sort of like media shit, like there's a celebrity about you. Like there's something about you, like people are gonna like see you out in public and they're gonna be like, oh shit, like that's the Saint guy, you know, or whatever. Like even though you feel like you're just like your shit's not being looked at or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, but when that happened at that wedding, that's when I told her, I'm like, you see, because that day I had told her, I'm like, you know, people know who you are, you know what I mean? Because she's like, nah, they don't know. And they just know me as your girl or whatever the fuck, right? Because I was the one that's like, I've been doing like the music shit. I've been doing the art shit. I've been doing all this shit, right? And so I get like stopped at events and shit like that too. Like, but from people that I know, you know what I mean? Like, but that was the first time that she had got stopped for something that she does that she didn't feel like somebody would ever stop her for, right? Like, it was more of like what the fuck? Like, but I told her, I'm like, I'm telling you, like, there's like a celebrity. If you're doing something online and people are, your face is out there, you're talking on camera and shit like that, like, there's something, you know.
You know, and the one that helped me feel like a little bit better about it was Rob. Like, right? It was.
Bro, Rob,
man,
he like praises like fucking anybody that comes on his show or anybody that he sees like is doing something, like fucking legend.
Yeah.
Well, in his words, I will say, in his words, he said, I've only had 2 legends in my show. He said, Evelyn and you. And I was like, bro, I'm just a 22-year-old guy that, you know, I don't even know what the fuck I'm doing.
No, yeah, because when Roland told me, because Roland went first, and then he's like, man, you know, he wants to have you. And I'm like, me? And he's like, yeah. He's like, you know, you're doing this so much more, and you're AI Mas. And I'm just like, oh, okay, you know. At first, I was nervous. Right? But, man, talking to him, I was like, damn, well, people are like, you know, he's a guy, and he's like watching my stuff, you know, because his girl she bought for my stuff too, which I knew her before I knew him, you know. And then, but the way he was telling me, like, you know, it made me feel like, oh, okay, maybe I am like working hard enough for people to actually know, like, what the fuck I'm doing, you know, like. Which he helped me. Obviously, Roland tells me all the time, but he's my husband, so I'm just like, oh, okay, you're saying that because you're my husband. But Rob, being like an outsider, you know, he helped with that too. And my cousin Yaya too. Like, she's always like hyping me up. She's like, yeah, like, you know, you're doing badass. Like, you're doing great, you know, stuff like that. It's encouraging words, you know, and people don't say them enough to like I see, you know, like your friends can probably support you, but they're not gonna be like, damn, you know, you're doing this, you're doing that. Like, they're just like, oh, that's good for you, you know. But it's pretty badass. Like,
fire emojis.
Yeah.
That's I guess, you know.
Yeah.
No, I get you. But to go back on what you said, you know, if you're finding the urge to ask anything, you know, go ahead, man. You know, I'm always an open book, you know.
Yeah,
because I was gonna ask how old you were, and you just said 22, right?
Yeah, 22.
Yeah,
No, yeah, I'm 22 years old. Whenever I told Robbie I was 22, he was like, there ain't no fucking way. And I was like, I'm 22 years old, bro. He was like, nah, I thought you were like older. And I was like, how old?
Yeah, I thought you were older. I thought you were maybe like 26, 27.
No, I'm 22. I'm 22.
Nah, I felt like he was young. I feel like when I saw...
you.
I saw the... Yeah, I feel like now when I see anybody, I'm just like, oh, they're younger, you know, right away and shit. But whenever...
You know how old
I don't know how old you guys are.
I'm 29.
I'll get... Well, how old are you?
Wait, what?
I'm 29.
Oh, I thought you said 21. I was like,
No,
what?
I heard 20. I was like, huh?
You're 20?
You're 20? It's okay, baby girl. No one needs to know. No. Okay,
Yeah.
you're 29. I'm assuming, I'll guess you're 27.
Yeah, I'm 27.
27. Okay. I just did like the math. School together. Okay. 27.
Yeah, I'm 27.
No, I'm 22.
Yeah, because I saw you, the first time I saw you was with like the whole Mania thing. And then I'm like, man, like I was like, oh, he's a kid. Like that's the first thing I'm like, oh, he's a kid interviewing. Because I know Terry from a long time ago, from when I was a kid type shit. Not a little kid, but like younger when I was doing like my rap shit and everything. He was like he was my DJ. He was like, I would send him like my songs, and he was a DJ with his friend, and they were like a duo DJ thing, you know what I mean? And then they would like screw and chop my shit or whatever. Yeah. And then send it back, and they got me into a show one time and shit like that. But that's how I know Terry, from the music side. So I kind of kept up with him, and then once we did the whole Mania logo, and then I saw they did an interview with you, and then that's when I saw you, and I'm like, oh shit, like, and then I just knew like, oh, he's young, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, he did say you were young.
Yeah.
But Roland always says, like, when he sees somebody, he's like, oh, they're young.
Like, I'm like, oh, that's a kid. Like, not in a bad way. It's just like, oh, he's like a kid, you know? Like.
No, yeah. I don't know. Some people take me from like, oh, you're probably same thing. You know, you're older. You're like 26 years old. You're 25.
Yeah. Honestly, I guess I did feel maybe you were a little bit older, not like 22. You know. Mm-hmm. But props to you. I mean, you have a lot going on for a 22-year-old.
Yep.
I have, I have canas. I have, my hair's falling off, you know, but I love it. I would never replace any of it, you know. I made great friends, you know. I made amazing, great friends along the way, you know, connections and all that. And we're all growing. We're, you know, that's what it is. That's the whole point, you know. You grow, meet new people, you know, and it's like you never know. Maybe you know, you guys know something that I don't. It's like you said, you know, we'll give you the information. You do what you want with it, type shit, you know. So
sharing
I love
is
it.
caring.
Sharing is caring.
Yeah.
No, but shout out to Terry. Shout out to Mania and the boys.
Yeah,
they're great people. They're funny as fuck.
I think we have them scheduled, right?
Yeah, we got them booked for not this weekend, next weekend.
That's what it was. That's what it fucking was. Because I went to Mania the same day that you guys dropped the episode where you mentioned you were going to have Mania. And then, because I had an interview for someone. And then I was like, let's meet up at Mania. You know, we'll do it right there. Because she's friends with Terry.
Yeah.
And then I saw Terry and I was like, yo, like I heard you were going to be, you know, on the podcast with Rolando and Evelyn. He was like, oh, yeah, no, that's my dog, bro. And he was like, you see that logo? He designed it. And I'm like, oh, shit. I'm going to write that down. I'm going to say it whenever we do the show. Like,
wait, do they still have the rug?
They do.
Oh.
He pointed. That's what he pointed at. He was like, you see that logo? He did it. I was like, hey, man.
And the rug and shit.
Yeah,
I did two of them. There's a little rug and like a little bigger one, but.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got better and shit.
Yeah.
That, yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the first batches, right?
Yeah, it was one of the first ones.
But yeah, no, we're not going to ask you questions because
Save it.
Yeah, because when we're like, oh, we're going to ask him to come on the podcast. So he was like, are you going to ask questions? And, right? What did you say?
Yeah, I was like, man, because on the way over here, man, it's like 45 minutes. You went to Robbie's house, so you went from here, right? It's like 45 minutes. Like
I took Beltway. I'm not supposed to, but I took it. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, we're like literally like 10 minutes from his house.
Oh, really?
Or like not even like 5.
5 minutes from his house.
Really?
Yeah.
Pasadena, right? Somewhere around that area?
Yeah,
South
Houston.
Houston. Yeah, Edgebrook and shit. And what was I going to say? Oh, yeah, on the way over here, we're like talking and shit. And then I'm like, man, I'm trying to picture how it's going to be like here. Mm-hmm. And I was like, man, you know what? I'm like, and I'm picturing us sitting down, but us asking them questions. Mm-hmm. Like, I can't picture us like being asked or being interviewed, you know, since we do the talking most of the time type shit.
Yeah. But I was like, nah, we're going to turn
like,
it off.
just chill, answer his questions, just be chill.
Take it easy. No,
and
that's
we're
how
over here
was.
like trying to turn it around on you and shit. Like,
yeah, that's how it was with Robbie. When I was driving, I was like, bro, like, you know, I went alone, so I was like, bro, like, what the fuck? This is my first ever interview. Like, I've never had, no one's ever had me on the show, so I was like, what the fuck am I going to say? What is he going to ask me? You know? Mm-hmm. So I pulled up, and he was like, what's up, man? You know, this and that. And he was like, I don't want to ask you too much. You know, he has this energy.
He
does,
he does.
Bro. So he was like, I don't want to ask you too much, but, you know, how you doing? You know, what you do? This and that, you know? And I answered, and then because I like to talk too, you know? I like to talk. And I was about to give off a little bit more. He was like, no. He was like, nah, save for the show. And I was like, all right,
Yeah.
bro. I'll
No,
save.
but you know, he does pretty good at like stopping you from questioning him, though, right?
Yeah,
He does pretty good about doing that or whatever.
Does he?
Well, with me, when I was like talking to him, because me, I'm usually the one that like if I'm talking to somebody, like somehow at the end of the night, like I know their life story and they start telling me like everything, right? Like that
Yeah.
usually always happens. So when I went to Rob's, I was like, well, I'm not gonna ask him questions. He's gonna ask me, you know. So when I would talk to him, he'd be like so amazed at whatever I was telling him. And then he would ask the next question right away, so he wouldn't let me like come back. I think to
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Pretty smart of him, though. You know,
Yeah.
it's how you keep it going. No, I slipped one in there, and I was like, "Can I ask you something?" He was like, "You got a question for me?" And I was like, "Yeah, bro." You know, and I asked him, and you know, we went from there. Cause the same thing, you know, I was fighting the urge, and I was like, "I need to ask this man a question. Like, I just can't." You know, but we'll see him. You know, next season. You know,
That's fine.
happy to have him on. I guess we're getting close to an end. You know, we talked about a little bit what you've done. You know, I always like to tell my guests that, you know, there's always another time where we can go ahead and do another episode. Obviously, you know, you both, you know, you have 3 things happening, 4 things. You know, you have 5. So you have the NFTs. You know, you have Superior. You have the rugs. You have the podcast, and then you have AA Mas, and then Pequeños Milagros, fucking 6. I'm tripping. So you have 6 things happening. You know, you guys are busy. You guys are going at it. You know, raising a child as well. I'm assuming it's like hard. You know, having all these things, and then responsibilities at home. Mm-hmm. So progress will be made. I know that for a fact. I know that the way you guys are working, it's gonna happen. You know, look at the guest you're having next week. You know, that's like, it's crazy. Any verified account, it's crazy. You know, So congratulations to both of you.
Appreciate
you.
I'm super happy you guys came through. Proud of the work that you guys do. That shit's amazing. It's inspiring as well. You know, I know that's the goal, and trust me, it's working. You know, So I want to say thank you guys for coming again. It was an honor. It was an awesome finale to this. You know, and I guess we have. For the final segment, we like to have you guys talk to the audience. Mm-hmm. What if someone wants to do what you guys do? NFTs, podcasts, a brand. You know, you guys are doing it. They need help. They need advice. What can you give them?
You want to say something?
me first.
You can go first.
Well, I guess if it's a girl, right? Since I do AI mas, I mean a guy too, right? But for like a girl brand, I honestly would say like do your research. And then just fucking do it, like, honestly. Because literally, when I was like, I'm going to do AI mas, it was just because I had got my new machine because the other one broke. And I was just like, I have to fucking do something. I need to make my own money, like, right? And pretty much it just went from there, like, brainstorming and staying consistent, like, with what you have in mind, pretty much. Like, set a goal for yourself, like, even if it's like a weekly or monthly goal. I'm the type of girl that has a planner, like, and I like writing everything down, like, and I'll like do weekly goals or like schedule my week, you know, stuff like that for sure. I guess stay organized and stay consistent and just like fucking do it.
Pretty much like I would say the same thing. Like stay consistent, stay organized, have a schedule.
Yeah,
this is shit that like for real, like that we do type shit.
Yeah.
Is like I got a whole ass schedule. Like for us to come here, like I had to like move my shit around, like see what I had to move, what I had to get done beforehand, after. So for sure, like stay organized, have a schedule, do the research and shit. Like just how I didn't know shit about marketing, I didn't know shit, none of that shit, you know. So do all that. Learn from your mistakes for sure.
And it's okay to make mistakes.
Yeah, it's cool to make mistakes, but you know, if you can ask questions, there's never a dumb question.
Yeah.
So it's like the NFT shit. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing with NFTs, bro. Like I'm still learning about them. Like all I'm doing right now is just designing the shit. I have my accounts, I have everything ready, but as far as like anything afterward, I don't even know what the fuck to do. You know, so it's all a learning process. Don't be afraid to take risks. Because we've invested a shitload of money, we've lost a shitload of money. There's gonna be losses and there's gonna be wins. So at the end of the day, it's just like don't be afraid to like fucking take a loss. You know what I mean? You're not gonna win at everything you do, and you're just gonna learn
Yeah.
along the way type shit.
Like, for example, I'm just gonna put it out there, right? But like for my chapter 1, I took like a big ass L because since I did like sweaters, I was charging like $5 shipping, right? And they're kind of like heavy, and like the shipping was like $8 for like most of my orders, so I had to like pretty much take a big ass L.
So you lost money there?
And I had to pay out of pocket.
Fuck.
I had to pay out of pocket for the shipping, which I was like, fuck it, like I'm just gonna learn. Like it's a mistake, and it did not bum me out. Like, right at first I was like, fuck, like, but I didn't get mad at myself because I was like, well, I didn't ask Roland either. I was doing everything like I'm just gonna do my research, learn as I go, and that was my first mistake on my first chapter, and it didn't unmotivate me. It's just I kept going.
Just kept going. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I feel you. I think one of the major losses that I have, what was it? I did a shirt, and with the guy who does the screen printing, I give the shirts, the design and all that, and then he does this thing where he's like, okay, what size do you want it, whatever. Cool, do it. But I always email him the designs, and I always email the bottom, the template, how I want it. Mm-hmm. This is how I want it, Yeah. I guess he was in a rush that day, or I was, I don't remember. Sent him the design, and I also sent him how I want it at the very bottom. And then the shirts are already bought, pre-order. They were pre-order. So you bought them, I bought the stuff. Here's the money. Make them. Let me know when they're ready. Pick them up. And then when I went to go pick them up, the design, the logo, I wanted like this big in the chest. Mm-hmm. Motherfucker was this big. And I was like, that ruins the whole thing, Because it's like no one's like, there's a specific reason why you want it a specific way.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like that. It wasn't my vision. But he also has this policy where it's like anything, like sucks, Yeah. And I was like, fuck, and had to buy the new things again, Basically, I made nothing there. So I feel you on losses. It sucks.
Yeah.
But you learn from them. Now I stay there and be like, show me the fucking sizes. Like, I want to see everything. But he's a cool guy.
No, yeah. And it's about building a relationship and having that comfort of saying nah, or speaking up type shit. Because Pico, I don't know if he wants me to say this, but I'm going to say it anyway because he texted me. I designed some crew necks, like a pretty crew neck and jogger set and everything. And he sent me a video the other day. He sent me a video and he's like, bro, guess what? And I'm like, what's up? And he sent me a video, and then it's the screen printing, and I'm like looking, and then he's like, what do you see wrong? And I'm like, and he orders like a 1,000 pieces. I don't know. He orders a lot. His brand is pretty big. And he's like, do you see what's wrong? And I'm like, oh, fuck. Like, I think I fucked up the design, so I'm looking at the video, going back and forth. And I'm like, design-wise, I don't see a problem. You know what I mean? I went back to the mock-ups and shit. But then I seen that he wanted crew necks, and they were printing on hoodies. So I'm like, design-wise, I don't see a problem, but I see it's a hoodie, and it's not a crew neck. And then he's like, exactly. And I'm like, holy shit, so what? And he's like, I canceled the order. And I'm like, oh, but so what's going to happen with them hoodies? And he's like, he's going to take the L. He's like, I mean, I'm not paying for that shit. I told him crew necks, and he got hoodies. So I'm like, damn, Yeah. And I feel like normally you'd be like, oh, well, I'll take the hoodies then, But now he's like, nah. I put an order for crew necks. You got to boss up type shit. Because this whole thing is bossletics, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and this dude, bro, like, he's like the definition of a fucking boss, bro. Mm-hmm. Like, you don't take no for an answer. Like, it's going to go his way. He's going to lead the way for the shit he wants. You know what I mean? So it's all about building relationships too, and having that confidence to put your foot down and be like, nah, it's wrong. You know what I mean? Like,
no, I think the only reason why I didn't say nothing was because, like I said, I wasn't sure if I fucked up. Maybe I should have stayed there, and like I always did. That day I just didn't. I think I was in a rush, like I said. So I was like, you know what? I'll take the L. What I did is, I call these the dysfunctionals. They're originally, it was like $20 for every shirt. I was like, fuck it, sell them for $5, and they sold for $5. I mean, I lost, but not that much,
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna have on my website too.
Dysfunctionals, like stuff like that, or what?
Yeah, I might have a little tab, and any misprints or shit like that, I'll sell them still. Because usually I just keep them. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm always like, oh, this one's kind of crooked. You're gonna have those regardless of any screen printer you go with, whatever. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, I'll just keep the fucked up one. But I'm like, damn, I don't want to keep the fucked up ones. I want to have a good one, But I'm like, I'm gonna just sell them, but discounted price or whatever I paid for them type shit. It's a good way to, you know.
Yeah,
like,
no, I get
people
you.
like shit like that.
Or you know, go out to the less unfortunate. You know, I did that once. I never again. I went. You know, this quick little story, and there's like these long sleeve shirts, and I was like, you know, hey, you know, no video, no camera, nothing. You know, I was, I'm not gonna record this. You know, I don't want to. So, you know, out of my kindness of my heart, here you go. And he started cussing me out, and I was like, yo, what the fuck? I'm just giving you a shirt. It's cool as fuck.
Yeah.
You know? So I was like, not doing that shit again. Fuck
Damn,
that. Sell it for $5. But no, again, you know, thank you guys for coming. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
Hopefully, along the future, you know, we'll go ahead. Maybe, next season or the season after that, you know, we'll get together again. And, hey, you know, part 2. Here they are.
Yeah.
So, thank you guys for watching. You know, this is the season finale. Make sure to stay tuned extra for Legacy's performance. And we're done. Thank y'all.
Bye.
All right.
She's too fine, like my heart been trying to avoid you, but my mind wanna adore you, you. No lie, she's too fine, like my heart been trying to avoid you, but my mind wanna adore you, you. No love in the club, you will never find a good girl. Eastside Betty, long nails with the dark girls. Try to change her mind, tryna tell her she'll be mine, but she down for a good time, never for the long time. Yeah, says she with it for the moment. Yeah, come and get it if you want it. Get a taste and I'm floating, tasting I'm floating. Drinks with the ice, drunk off me. Asking if I'm with it, coming home with me. Dipping in the morning, never called a name. Weekend comes by, she gon' do it just the same. Like, no lie, she's too fine. Like my heart been trying to avoid you, but my mind wanna adore you, you. No lie, she's too fine. Like my heart been trying to avoid you, but my mind wanna adore you, you. She going out more with her friends lately. Never need a man, she ain't always baby. Independent through the week, after hours she a freak. Patron with the ice, she be taking what she like. That's with the T.I., hard to get a reply. She barely ever reachable, catch her on the dance floor. Dress steaming like a seasonal, only waiting for the weekend though. Devil in the dress, burning if you too close. Throw it back, take it back to the room though. Slipping up the black dress, tell her she the one. She left it off, tell me give me what I came for. No lie, she's too fine. Like my heart been trying to avoid you, but my mind wanna adore you, you. No lie, she's too fine. Like my heart been trying to